The UFC has had its fair share of crotch sniffers and boring fighters in the past couple years, but today we're going to be focusing on the most entertaining fighters. These are the fighters that when they're on the card, you know it's going to be a banger. I'm going to go through each division and tell you who the most entertaining fighter is. First, we got flyweight. I got to go with Kai Kara France. Obviously, Pantoja was close, Moreno was close, Royval was close, but let's just look at the facts. Pantoja, his last fight was good with Asakura. His fight with Urseg was pretty good, but he had an absolute smudge fest with Royval, and his fight with Moreno was good. With Kai Kara France, he never has a smudge fest. All his fights are entertaining. He has the most power at flyweight since Figueiredo, and he's the one guy in this division that can put guys out cold. The way he slept Garbrandt, the way he slept Urseg, you won't see anyone else. All right, maybe to Garbrandt because Garbrandt could get knocked out by Augusta Win, but no one's doing that to Urseg. What Kai Kara France did, at least not in the flyweight division. Steve Urseg went 5 rounds with Pantoja. I don't think he got dropped once. So Kai Kara France's power is unreal, and he's always going for the kill. His fight with Moreno, that was a war. His fight with Albazi, he got robbed, but when he was able to get on the feet, that was a war. I truly think he's the most entertaining fighter at flyweight. He has the most finishing ability by far. I think it was a pretty easy pick. For bantamweight, we got Sean O'Malley. This one wasn't very close. You could say maybe like Jan, or you could say Figgy, but I think it's pretty easily Sean. He's got the knockout power. He's got the footwork. He's got the flashy kicks. He's got the style. He's got the charisma. Maybe not as much charisma, but he's got everything you're looking for in a superstar. Fuck, that's glazed, but he's got what you're looking for the most part. He has the personality of a wall at a press conference, but we're looking at fight style, not a press conference performance. So, with all that said, I think he's by far the most entertaining at bantamweight. He can actually put dudes out with one punch. Like I said, Jan and Figgy, they're good too, but Sean O'Malley's always in fun fights. Honestly, I think Dvalishvili's last fight was very entertaining too with Umar. It doesn't compare to Sean, and that was just one performance of many. Marab's performance against Sean was not very fun, and when Sean did have the fight going his way, he was able to hurt Marab fifth round, and he tagged him up pretty good when they were on the feet. So O'Malley's definitely the guy at bantamweight. At featherweight, this one's a no-brainer. It's Ilia Topuria. I mean, who else is knocking out Max Holloway? The answer is no one. No one's knocking out Max Holloway. He's the only guy to knock out Max Holloway in UFC history. In general, he's the only person to finish Holloway in that fashion. Um, Obviously, you got Lopez, you got Yair, Josh Emmett can be pretty fun, Arnold Allen, Volk, but it's got to be Topuria when he starts ripping those combos to the body and then he hits him up top. There's nothing more fun to see than that. I mean, he probably has the most pound for pound power in the UFC. He's always standing and banging. If he goes to the ground, he's going for transitions. He's moving. He's the biggest threat to Islam in the UFC right now. He might have what it takes to beat him, but I guess we'll have to find out. Definitely has to defend against Volk. Then we'll see where we go from there. But featherweight, easily Topuria. At lightweight, it's Michael Chandler. A lot of people will say Oliveira. Look at Oliveira's performance against Chandler. It was a smudge fest. He was holding Chandler down almost the whole fight. The only fun part of that fight is the fifth round when Chandler was in control. Chandler was the one controlling where the fight goes, and Chandler hurt him bad in that fifth round. Besides that, the fight wasn't that fun. I saw it in person. The most entertaining part was when Chandler hurt him, and then when Chandler got up, he jumped on his back for the crowd. What other fighter is going to jeopardize their chance of winning to entertain the crowd? The answer is no one. Michael Chandler is the only fighter who would risk his fight, who would risk winning to entertain the crowd. When he's standing up against Justin Gaethje and walking towards him with his hands down, taking blows, no one else is doing that. When he's every fight he has is either fight of the night, fight of the year. Look at his finish against Hooker. Look at the Tony finish, one of the best knockouts ever. There's never a dull moment in there. When he takes you down, he goes for slams. He pistol squatted Dustin Poirier, a grown man. He pistol squatted and slammed him on his head. No one else is doing what Chandler does. Um, Other notable mentions, we got Gaethje, obviously. Gaethje's very entertaining. Poirier, Makachev, like I said, Oliveira, um, Hooker, but Michael Chandler has to be the most entertaining fighter in this division. It's probably the most entertaining division, to be honest. At welterweight, we got Carlos Prates. He had 4 fights last year, I believe. All 4 knockouts. Li Jingliang, Neil Magny, and 2 other guys I can't think of right now. But this dude has some power in his hands. He's always down to fight. Um, I was between him and Stephen Thompson, to be honest. But Stephen Thompson isn't much of a finisher, and I think part of an entertaining fighter is having finishing ability, which obviously Prates has. He is number 13. He'll have a very good year this year if he stays on track. He has a good personality. He's part of one of the most entertaining gyms, the Fighting Nerds. They're on the come up, and overall, yeah, he just goes there to throw. He's always down for a good fight. I think this one is pretty easy between him and Thompson. At middleweight, again, this one's easy. It's DDP. DDP has one of the sloppiest styles that doesn't take away from its entertainment value. In fact, I'd argue that it adds to it. Strickland himself can have boring fights. DDP brought one of the best Strickland fights I've ever seen. DDP can strike good. When he wrestles, he goes for submissions. He goes for ground and pound. So he's not a boring grappler. Who else would you even say for this division? I mean, you could say Khamzat too. Khamzat's very entertaining, but I mean, you've had those moments with Usman where he's just holding him down. Dricus du Plessis gets a finish almost every fight. He's like any fan's dream. He can submit people. He can knock people out. I think this one's pretty easy to pick. I would say Izzy used to be the most entertaining, but he's become more of like a point fighter. Like he likes to leg kick and jab at range, which that's not nearly as fun as just going in, winging hooks, like bar fighting, which is what DDP does. For light heavyweight, we got a former middleweight, Alex Pereira. Again, this one, who else would you say? Roundtree? No, it's not Roundtree. It's Pereira. Pereira's got the most power in the UFC. What can you even say about it? Like every fight he's been in the UFC has been a banger. Let's just call it what it is. The casual audience, at least, they don't like grappling, and all this dude does is stand and fight. He's the definition of the perfect entertaining fighter. Huge striker with insane knockout power. He's got the flashiness, he's got the kicks, he's got the punches. This guy can do it all. I don't even know who else would be like a contender to being the most entertaining fighter in this division. Like it's just got to be Pereira. And then obviously outside the cage, he makes these skits. He just makes funny videos in general, like the video. Oh, another. I will say, obviously Yuri is just like on a whole nother level. So I take that back. There was a contender. It was between him and Yuri, but it's Pereira. Yuri, I can't even say why. I don't know. It's close between him and Yuri. I feel like I just gotta give it to Pereira though, because he's fighting in the championship fights, you know? It took him until round 3 to finish Jamal. Pereira did it in 1. Pereira finished Yuri in round 2, both of their fights, I believe. But he's the only man who's been able to hurt Yuri as badly as he has, so I think it's gotta be Pereira, but it's close between him and Yuri. And at heavyweight, this one's a bit of a curveball, but I think you gotta go with this guy. It's the Black Beast. Who else is as entertaining as a Black Beast? When the Black Beast is down the whole fight and he winds up a big uppercut and knocks some guy out cold with one punch, and then he takes his pants off and twirls him around. Who else is doing that? Yeah, you could say Tom Aspinall is a good contender. I'd agree with that too. That's a good pick. But when you're watching the fight with your boys, you see Derek Lewis walk out, this big boy. Let's be honest, he's got some pudge to him. When you see this big pudgy guy knock someone out cold, it's way more entertaining than seeing Aspinall do it. Because you expect Aspinall to be good. Derek Lewis, he has the most knockouts in UFC history. I mean, it's hard to compete with that. Yeah, Tom's fun. John's a fun fighter, heavyweight too, but you gotta give it to Lewis. They're not knocking dudes out like Lewis is. And his post-fight antics, hot ball speech. I mean, almost all of his post-fight win speeches are funny. So many people I know love Derek just for that stuff he does after the fight. And like I said, in the cage, he can turn off anyone's lights at any moment. So just that factor alone makes watching the fight so much more entertaining, because if you look away, you can miss it. That's my pick for heavyweight. Those are my picks for the most entertaining fighters in the UFC. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And thank you for watching.